Because you got powerful legs. How'd you get the physique? Was it gym or how'd you get the physique?
I've always been.
She's actually not got powerful legs. Do you shower in your dressing room? Do you have a shower on the day of a fight or not? Tell us about the tattoos.
Shut the fuck up, you little prick.
But then I've got the Phoenix.
Hey, prick.
So I'll take it from Bob every day of the week.
Absolute disgrace.
That's your nodal mind.
Move him out of here, there.
Ricky Hatton didn't go over for his fighter because he risked getting abducted and sold into sexual
I never said that.
Both have been rape victims. I'm not watching Frank Buglioni live on Saturday night. You're out of your mind.
Jesus Christ, get yourself a life.
He's actually a priest.
Yeah.
It's because his brother John Fury eye gouged him.
What have I told you all this time? He's going to end up sucked out, fucked out, looking for a handout.
Boxing nutters messenger group. I'm gonna be the king.
J-Pump. You know what I'm saying?
Welcome, folks, to episode 636 of the Boxing Asylum Nuthouse. You can catch us on Sundays, 8 o'clock in the UK, 12 o'clock Pacific time here in the United States, and all time zones in between. For more of the fun, check us out, patreon.com/Boxing Asylum. You'll be able to find some more goodies there. There have been very few goodies in the boxing world, but we had a couple of entertaining fights last weekend. Figure we'll get aboard and talk about it. Let's kick it off with some heavyweight action in the UK yesterday with Arislandic Makhmudov taking a 12-round decision off of Dave Allen. Of course, it went the distance. Why wouldn't it have? In a fight where Dave, he looked all right at times, and he landed some shots that really seemed to bother Makhmudov, but Makhmudov kept his hands moving a lot more. And he just did these little pity pat punches. Like, I remember him just throwing 4 or 5 soft right hands on Allen at the same time because Allen refused to move his fucking head. 12 rounds went by. There's a point deduction in there, and Makhmudov walks away. Still kind of on the fringe of the world scene, and Dave Allen once again realizes he's probably a British level fighter, and there's nothing wrong with that. He has a great audience; people dig him. He's a good dude, but he just doesn't quite measure up at this world level, unfortunately. Des, what were your thoughts on this fight? I thought that 9th round, particularly, Allen really looked like he wanted it there, and he just wasn't able to finish it in the 10th. But he certainly did try. And it's about levels.
Yes, correct. It's about levels, and I think it was a kid who could win an area belt against a kid who'd probably win a European belt, and it's quite a long way between the two. I think that round 9,
they're both in their 30s.
Well, that's a boxing colloquial term. We call it.
I know. So, I'm just thinking about it. Yeah, Makhmudov's 37.
Yeah. That's just a colloquial boxing term. But I think we kind of knew this all depends on what type of Makhmudov turns up, and I don't think many people expected Dave to win, did they? But we knew if Dave can somehow take Makhmudov into an uncomfortable place, get him to fight at a pace he didn't enjoy, then Dave could have success, perhaps in the second half of this fight, because we've seen Makhmudov, for want of a better phrase, chuck it in the past. We've seen him get outdone, but it's probably unfair to make the comparison that Dave Allen can outdo him, because Vianello is probably a European level fighter himself, and Caballero is probably a world-class fighter. So to ask Dave to replicate what them guys did was probably it's a big ask. But what we did see was from the first bell, Dave went in on the back foot into a shell. And that's to be expected because Makhmudov's the bigger guy, heavy-handed, incredibly heavy-handed, with much underrated boxing skills. And he got behind the jab and he was determined not to let Dave get on the front foot. I think Dave got to about round 4 and then there was a shift. Makhmudov started to get on the back foot. And I think that had a lot to do with the pressure Dave started to apply. Dave, I thought, had a really good round 5. But then this is where he got interested. I think Makhmudov enjoyed being on the back foot because the back foot gave him a bit of distance and it allowed him to find a bit of range. And he showed us that actually he's not as slow and as cumbersome as we thought. And at this level, against a kid that would probably win an area belt,
and who doesn't use his jab, who doesn't move his head, it's target practice.
Well, that was Dave's undoing, I'm afraid. He didn't have a lot of lateral movement. He didn't do any short steps. He didn't find angles and he didn't have any feints. It was very predictable. And that really played into Makhmudov's hands. And Makhmudov, who we thought wouldn't be able to fight going backwards, enjoyed being on the back foot. Again, to reiterate what I said, he enjoyed the space. He enjoyed getting his timing and his range right. And he enjoyed the fact that Dave was doing everything in straight lines. And round 9 was a good round for Dave. He had a pocket in the fight in round 9.
If he had another 30 seconds, we might be having a different discussion today because he had Makhmudov work pretty well towards the end of that round.
I'll come to that, possibly. But I think maybe subconsciously that might have been Dave Allen's last roll of the dice. I think he might have known, I'm now coming into the last 3 rounds. If I'm ever going to do it, it's now. And then when he didn't do it, I think Dave lost a bit of himself. I think Dave emptied his tank. And I think there was conversations in the corner. Do you want me to pull you out? I thought Jamie Moore was going to pull him out because there was a time, I think it was around 10 or 11, it looked a little bit uncomfortable. Dave's head was swelling and he was taking punches full on. He was using his face as a target, and it was easy to find. Look, so going back to Makhmudov, I don't think he goes much further in European level because he's one of these guys that when he gets tagged, when he gets hit, even if he's not buzzed, he seems to discombobulate. He seems to go all over the place. He doesn't hold a shot that's what I'm looking to say. He doesn't hold a shot very well. And against someone that's 2 or 3 levels above Dave Allen, someone that should be fighting and winning European titles, let's just say, for example,
well, you already saw it with Vianello. You basically already saw it happen in the ring.
Yeah. And if he was fighting someone that we could all relate to, someone like an Adelaide or a Fabio Wardley, if they got him on the hook, they wouldn't let him off it. And he's very easy to hit. He's one of them big punchers that when he gets caught, he just doesn't hold a shot very well. But last night, just to finish up and close it up for me, last night was about 2 kids from 2 different levels. One was an area level kid, and one was a fighter that could win a European title probably on a good day. And it was about subtle movements that Dave Allen just didn't have in the locker. And when you're going to press, when you're going to walk forward against a fighter that's been around the amateurs, that comes from a good system, that can punch and he's got size, you need to be able to feint. You need to draw him out. You need to get him to throw and miss, then come back over the top. And Dave just didn't have that. And look, that's not a slight on Dave because I know where Dave Allen's at. I've got to say, though, I thought the crowd was brilliant last night. I really wanted Dave to win because I thought British boxing could do with a few nights like this. I think Dave Allen could do an awful lot for the brand of British boxing, but it just wasn't to be. But I saw more of Makhmudov's personality after the fight last night, which was nice. And he come across as a really genuine, normally nice bloke. Where does Makhmudov go? I don't know, maybe the Vianello return. Maybe he fights for a European title. Where does Dave Allen go? There'll be a fight for him.
Since he's based in Canada, Des, I think honestly the way they might think about Makhmudov but, I don't have it all in front of me right now because it's later on. But the cat who just lost to Vianello is a Canadian. He needs a bounce back, Makhmudov still needs to keep moving.
You mean Barriere?
Yeah,
Barriere?
yeah. I think that's. I think that's a good play as far as Makhmudov goes.
Yeah.
Or I'll tell you what, we just talked. It looks like the AJ fight is going a different direction. We just talked to this dude. He needs a win against somebody with a decent ranking. I think that Yoka could probably use a Makhmudov right now in his career.
Definitely.
I think Yoka's a really good shout.
Yeah, and you can figure that out. Like I said, the Yoka, especially under Don Charles, because what he needed to learn is to be a heavyweight, to come forward, land shots, and
especially the French connection in Canada. I think it's a good shout, Yoka. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the guy, because if he does find a way inside on Makhmudov and to fight like a Don Charles fighter, Makhmudov is easily touched and he's easily hurt. And that's the thing about it. But he is a big puncher himself. I was shocked this fight went the distance, honestly, because I figured one of them would go toast before it all. But so we sit here. But Justin, what are your thoughts on this fight? And what you saw yesterday afternoon, early evening?
I thought Dave Allen was going to win because I thought Makhmudov was brought in for Dave Allen to win and have a name to try to put Allen into something else, because I know Des was talking about European level. I think Makhmudov's fucking terrible. I think he's awful. I don't think he's even European level. I think Vianello would beat him again. I think he's
one of those guys that should have stayed with the AIBA.
Yeah,
yet,
he should have. He should have pulled the Jalilov and just stayed into the amateurs, because Makhmudov is that fucking little head twist thing he does is so annoying. I don't think his power is legit, like real top level power as they made it out to be. If you go back and watch a lot of his fights, a lot of his shots are just like clubbing shit that eventually just wears a guy down. And I just thought this was set up for Allen to beat him. But Dave Allen is what he is. He just kind of went back to what we thought he was, a heavy bag who has a few little skills about him, a few little things, and he could take a hellacious shot. That's who he's always been. And to make how bad is it that Makhmudov was even allowed to fight off the back foot? You have to be putting Makhmudov. He's just not that good. He's not. And Allen, we come to find out like this, that Allen is what he is. And he just, I don't know what to say. Makhmudov, I just didn't think, I thought Allen was going to beat him. I thought he would work the body, and he did hurt him. When he hit him to the body, that's where Makhmudov, he cannot take it. And Allen just didn't do enough of that. And I don't know if that's because of conditioning, or maybe he just didn't, maybe he did feel, maybe those shots were getting him a little bit and he was afraid to try to work the body. I don't know. But this fight is, and as far as Dave Allen goes, he'll be back. People want him. People like him. They can throw him in versus Adelaide, and people still sell out to watch it. They can throw him in versus that TKV, versus Fraser Clark. There's a ton of guys. If Wardley loses to Parker, that would be a natural opponent to get Wardley back on track. Put him in versus Dave Allen as his, well, I lost to Parker, let me get back on the right road. I mean, there's just so many guys they can put. A Coley, there's so many dudes that Dave Allen can fight. I don't think he'll retire. I think he'll keep going because the money's there. The people are going to keep – people want to see him. Do we need to keep seeing him? No, but he's going to be – people are going to keep seeing him, and he's going to go out there again. We'll see him. Knowing Dave Allen, how he goes, it might be a year from now before he's back, but he'll be back. Makhmudov, I think, like you said, Yoka could be a good fight. That Barriere guy is – we can get to that fight in a little bit. He is straight trash. He is terrible.
I disagree.
Talk about a guy that they put in deep water last night and he drowned. I mean, he didn't even get out the boat.
Yeah, I think Vianello is a better puncher than people have given him credit for. Because I got to tell you, he caught Vianello with some good shots. He was very sneaky with that left hand at times.
I think they thought Barriere. I think they overrated his power and just kind of thought that Vianello, that he's going to be able to land, and Vianello is not going to be able to take his shots. And when Vianello took his shots, that's it. He had no other plan B in that fight. That's all he could do. And once he took them, he couldn't take a shot. And I like Villanello. I always thought he's a, what do you say? I got the best way to put it. He's an honest pro. I mean, the man shows up.
Yeah.
And he fights. So, yeah. So I like Villanello.
Yeah, I mean, he's never been blown out. I mean, because that Rice fight, he was up at the time of that cut. And I can't remember the scorecards against Torres, but I don't think
I like Villanello for one reason is that pretty much every fight he's fought, like his last 6 or 7 fights, are for his contract. Like every fight he's fighting because everybody's like, no, this is his last fight. He needs to win this, or he's got to look good, or they're not going to bring him back. And he just keeps like bringing himself back. And I like that. I mean, he just keeps kind of earning his next fight. Not like a lot of these guys who just keep bringing like Danny Garcia next Saturday. They just don't deserve to keep coming back. Villanello actually fights his way back. I don't know how we kind of got off on another fight, but there's just not much without Mudoff. It's just it was what it was. I kind of thought Allen would get it, but hey, who cares? And in the end, I don't really care who won, to be honest.
Yeah, it was what it was. But the rest of that card was all right there too. Let's see here. I'm gotta bear with me, folks, as I look through this stuff here. But I thought there's a couple of interesting fights, and actually we can get to this one. Justin, did you catch? Was it Bilotti against Padley? And folks thought that at the very least the scorecards were a little bit bunk.
Yeah, the only undercard I got was that fight because I like Bilotti. I've seen him fight like 10 times now. I think if I had to, I didn't score it, but I thought Bilotti won. I thought Padley maybe finished the fight a little bit better, but I thought Bilotti he just did more. I guess that's the best way to put it. I think Padley, what maybe won it for Padley is that he did finish a little bit stronger. I think Bilotti did slow down, but I thought Bilotti got one. That's who I test is who I thought won. It wasn't a highly skilled boxing match. Each guy's at his level right now. This is their level. They should not go be any higher than that. I think Padley, people kind of are rating him because Shakur just was real lazy and let him go longer maybe than it should have went. And now he's going to get fights off of that. I mean, he's going to get a lot of fights now just because he went a little bit longer with it for Shakur than people thought he would. But I don't think he's that great, and I thought Bilotti won.
Yeah, I unfortunately didn't get to see this one, so I'm gonna have to go with you on that. Just what I heard, and just there's so much that we watch over the weekend. The one that I did catch was Junaid Boston against Bilal Fawaz in a rematch. It was a draw the first time. This was a majority decision, which Fawaz won, and I thought that. I don't know. I thought that Boston had an argument on that one. I thought that he probably landed the more hurtful shots. There was a couple of really good rounds in there, though. This was overall a tremendously entertaining fight. I don't know. Des, did you think that the right guy got it? Do you think it could have gone either way? It was kind of a coin toss. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Boston was in the fight for large pockets. I think it was a really good fight between two guys that. I think one guy struggled with the other guy unorthodoxy, and I think Fawaz, I think he got to grips with Boston being unable to fight on the front foot. I think it was a situation where someone like Junaid Boston has probably had an amateur career, a gym career, and a pro career so far, where everything's been crisp and clean, and he's learned to deal with that. He's learned to beat good fighters that are correct, technically sound. But last night, he had to deal with someone that was awkward and in some places a bit gangly and very unorthodox. Now, British boxing has a habit of throwing these guys up. You know, believe it or not, as polished as he looks, Chris Eubanks Sr. was the awkward one of the group because Michael Watson and Steve Collins and Nigel Benn were very, very good amateurs that went around the world. Chris Eubanks Sr. wasn't there. He was the awkward one of the group. Around the same time, we had Dennis Andrews, who couldn't get out of the London ABAs, but ended up winning 3 WBC titles in 3 different countries because he traded on his ruggedness and toughness. Recently, we've had a kid, I think he was a welterweight, and he was Moroccan, but he operated in the UK, and his name was Yassim El Machi. And he had a really awkward style. He was very tough, very fit, couldn't punch, but he knew how to negate guys that traded on you being very correct, very sound technically, throwing very good crisp punches. And sometimes when you get a kid like Boston, who's been brought up correctly and knows how to fight technically well against technically sound fighters, a guy like Bilal Fawaz can pose so many problems. And that's what we saw last night. And the big red flag for me, and it was evident quite early, similar to Paddy Donovan a few weeks ago against Crocker, Boston wasn't too sure how to fight coming forward. Every time he put his foot forward, he got tagged coming in, and when he held his feet, he was taking shots on the inside. So it tells me he's really used to guys coming onto him, and he's got really good motor skills, and he knows how to keep his distance. But when he's got to take the initiative, when he's got to be proactive against a rugged, tough, awkward kid like Fawaz, he's very easy to hit. And that's what happened last night. I've got to say, Boston played his part in a good fight. It was an intriguing fight. And if you like, it was a fight of two halves. I thought Fawaz made it difficult for Boston to look crisp and clean early half of the fight. But I thought Boston went into round 6 probably up on the cards. But I think Boston then neglected his jab going looking for Fawaz. And I think Fawaz really tidied up his act in the second half. And I think on my card, and I weren't scoring it pen to paper, but my eyes know what they're looking at. I thought Fawaz just nicked it because he had a really good round 9, 10, 11, 12. And when a fight was over, Boston looked deflated. He knows this guy's all wrong for me. This is not what they told me boxing was going to be like. And Fawaz just looked like he could have gone another 10 rounds. In great shape, very fit. Not a puncher, as his record might tell you. Not a puncher, his record tells you that. But he's got a toughness about him. He's got a steeliness. He's a hard kid. And being awkward, he throws punches from strange angles. Congratulations to Bilal Fawaz. Congratulations to Steve Goodwin, who's brought him through the non-televised small hall show, who works tirelessly on a small hall scene. Congratulations, kid. I hope you move on, and I hope you go and defend your English title and be involved in some good paydays. With regards to Junaid Boston, if I was speaking to him and his team, I'd say, just put that one to bed now. You've got to move on. He's all wrong for you. And that does happen in boxing. Sometimes a very polished, crisp kid can come across an awkward, dare I say it, ugly style, and it just doesn't work for him. So Boston's got to put that to bed now and just pick up his career and try and build from where he's at. But it was a good fight. It was an intriguing fight. I enjoyed it. I've enjoyed both of them. But I think Fawaz was the winner, and I think Fawaz is all wrong for Boston.
Yeah, the thing I do wonder if Boston is how far he's going to be able to go, because I thought he had some ring IQ issues in there. Because if you looked at the way that Fawaz was holding his arms and everything early on, like the body was wide open, and you could say he was trying to bait him into some degree or another. But considering he had a fairly substantial reach advantage, it looks in there like he could have been jabbing him to the solar plexus all fight long, basically, and made his life tremendously easy. That's just me looking at it. But anyhow, so let's go on over to the card in Philadelphia, though, and Jaron Ennis is got a first round stoppage over Wisma Lima in his debut at 154 pounds, just absolutely wiping Lima out. 2 knockdowns, and the ref called it following a barrage. No problem with the stoppage, absolutely overmatched. And Boots goes on, supposedly if Ortiz gets through Lubin, that is supposed to happen. I don't know. It's tough to kind of judge off of this, Justin, because he blitzed a guy who we really don't know what his level is at. But he did the job. He blitzed a guy in his debut at 154, at least on this level.
Well, we can say that Lima, this is not his level.
No,
I think me and you talked about earlier. Lima, it's sad that Ennis was fighting him. One, Jaron Ennis should never be in the ring with Lima. That should never happen at this point of his career. We should never see that fight. 2, Lima shouldn't even be the main event in his hometown in Portugal. So I don't know how in the hell he worked his way into this. It was terrible. It was just it's embarrassing, I think. Then it was embarrassing the way Ennis and his people acted as if they had beat Virgil Ortiz in the first round. It was just sad. I've got to the point now with Ennis, and I'm a big fan. I have been, but his career is just nothing now. It's gone nowhere. And I don't want to hear, this was, a guy like Ennis at this point of his career, he shouldn't be taken when he's going up in the weight. How many times did Ennis say that this is his natural weight? That this is the best he's ever been in his life? Then why does he need a tune-up? A tune-up like this? This is like, especially if you're as good as everybody says you are, and he says he is. This was embarrassing. This was a joke. Should have never happened. We said it was a joke when it was made. Now, first time I saw it, I thought somebody had did an AI poster, had grabbed some dude and just thrown him on there. And me and you talked about it. Portugal is not known for boxing. It never has. They've never even had a champion ever, which is amazing. I don't know what to say about this. Ennis, I will say this though. The only positive about this is that it didn't last. Ennis did what you're supposed to do. Just like Opataya does versus all the trash he fights. We don't need to see 5 or 6 rounds. We just need you to go in there, show your level, and if you're going to fight them, obliterate them. That's what I love Klitschko. That's what Klitschko used to do. We made fun of all his opponents, but Klitschko got him out. There was a couple where he played with him, but for the most part, Klitschko didn't go 12 rounds with Alex Leopai and all these guys. He did what you're supposed to do. So at least if you're going to fight them, just wipe them out. And that was just embarrassing, though. The whole card was trash. The whole card was terrible. The whole thing was terrible. I don't know what to say about it. Ennis, we'll see. I will say this, Ennis, we thought we had something with Stanionis that he was going to start, and then all of a sudden he says, well, I'm going up. I don't want to do that no more, and then I'm going to fight these guys. I don't know. I think if it was up to Ennis, honestly, I think he'd be fighting more of these guys than he would be Ortiz and Lubin. I believe this. I believe this is what he likes because he's getting paid well. He's the main event. I mean, if you're the main event star and you have to fight these guys, awesome. This is what the PBC used to do. We'll give you a main event. And you just fight these bums and nobody cares. So this just bugged me. I wanted Ennis to be on that Crawford level. He's never going to be the Crawford level. It's never going to happen. He's never even going to be close to that. He doesn't have enough dog in him. He doesn't have enough of that to ever want to achieve what Crawford did. And this is where he's at.
Yeah, you might be right there. Sometimes I think maybe he's, you got to play some of that heavily avoided in there too. And we'll see now that he's in this stacked division after this, what he actually does, because there's plenty of fights out there that would be interesting for him. But apparently this wasn't one of them. His demolition job. He had all the shots. He was, what do you say when a guy just beat someone's ass in a couple of minutes? It's what happened. He beat his ass in a couple of minutes.
But that's what he's meant to do. I mean, that was all about Boots last night. And putting to one side where we want Boots to be, perhaps there's the next 18 months for him to build to that. He's 28 years old. He's a former welterweight champion of the world. He's probably in most people's top 10, top 15 pound for pound, or certainly expected to be in the next 12 months, 18 months, if they get him moving. It's interesting. 3 of his last 4 fights have been in Philadelphia. They're building him at home. It's a shame we haven't got a chap from last week, Gargiel Grill, because he's from Philadelphia. He'll tell us what the tone is and what the culture's like around Boots at the moment. But looking at it last night, it seemed like the city's coming out for him. They're building him from at home. It's quite supportive. And they're now taking him up to 154. Now, 154 is probably the new 47. It's littered with killers. If it ain't Murtazaliev, it's Xander Zayas or Ortiz Jr., Fendora, Madrimov, Brandon Adams is coming good. As in my eyes, hasn't been beaten since 2019. We've got a really good list of fighters there, and we've probably got some really good fights to be made. And the fact that Eddie Hearn is putting a lot of time into Boots and going out there personally and overseeing this stage in his career, I think maybe we're going to see Eddie put Boots where he thinks he should be, but it's going to take about 12 to 18 months. And if Boots can stay active, three fights a year, keeping him at home or bouncing between Philadelphia and Atlantic City, I think we might see the Boots we all expect to see, or the Boots that we want to see. He's got the potential. I think he's got the flair. I think he's well received in Philadelphia. I think this could be someone that the boxing world stands on, but it's going to take about 18 months. But Eddie missed out on Canelo and Danny Garcia and Tank and Devin Haney. He's never quite had his hands on them guys. I think he's going to make a play to have his hands on Boots. And I think when you look at the guys Eddie's got in his roster, whether it's AJ, who we kind of know where he's going now, and Conor Benn, who I don't think's anywhere close, not even on the same planet as these type of guys, I think Eddie will take a real interest in Boots. And I just think that we're going to see some really interesting fights, and we're going to see Boots get built in a really exciting way in the next 18 months. But in terms of the guys he's beaten, whether it's Stanionis or Avanesium, I can never pronounce Karen's second name. What's Karen's second name, Matty? That kid there. I know it might not be, a go on a big dipper, but these are solid wins. And Justin mentioned Crawford. I'm not making a comparison, but Crawford's had some solid, tough wins that probably people didn't regard as very high caliber along the way. And I'm not saying Boots is as good as Crawford, but I'm saying he might be the next cab off the rank. And in 18 months' time, we might see Boots on the back of another 4 to 5 fights get there. And in this division, what we can guarantee, there's nowhere to hide. This one's full of big names. This one's full of hard fights. So it's going to be interesting.
No, Des, you're right. The pieces are there for him to have a great career. It's just if they can put them all together. It's there. The talent, it's all there for everybody to see. That's what frustrates you. It's like, I think my point of view is we're losing all the stars. And I want him to fill that hole. Like, I want him to be that guy. And maybe that's where I get frustrated, because I'm like, you see it. You know it's there. And maybe I'm just getting over anxious and trying to rush him, but it's like, it's there. And we want it to happen because we're losing all these guys. And then he's only 28, so he will be the guy left. If he can take it, it's there for him to be the guy. It just depends on if he takes it.
It's funny thing with boxing, though. In 18 months, we could see a shift. Like, you could see Abdullah Mason, Bruce Carrington. You could see Boots. You could see a real shift in play. And before you know it, the new stars have aligned. And we've got 5 or 6 headline acts across 5 or 6 divisions. But I think we've got the talent now.
That's how boxing always works, though. You think about it. Our whole boxing lives watching it, we always had this conversation. Who's next? There's always going to be somebody. You just got to, it just might not be right away, but there's, like you just said, they're coming. We just might not even know they're there. But boxing always has somebody that'll take it. I just think Ennis is just right there for him.
Well, if he beats Virgil Ortiz, I mean that's going to be a star-making performance. Because Ortiz,
that's a big ask. That's a big ask, mate. That's a big one.
Yeah, but I mean, that's supposed to be the plan if Ortiz gets through Lubin, which is coming up early next month. I think probably about a month away. So, but yeah.
But if you sorry to interrupt you, mate. If you was to put Boots, say, for the next, look, Boots, you're going to have 3 fights over the next 15 months. And I want to see you beat Brandon Adams. I want to see you beat Madrimov, and I want to see you beat Fundora. I mean, that's very achievable, and it's very impressive, and that's the type of trajectory that you'd want someone like Boots to have. And then you get the Victor Ortiz fight, and if you can run in parallel alongside Boots, now you've got a super fight between 2 Americans. And like I just said there, if you've got the Keishawns and the Abdullahs and the Bruce Carringtons, and if Tank can get his act together, to come back to what Justin said, all of a sudden you've got 4 or 5 stars across 4 or 5 divisions, and boxing's where it needs to be. But I think with Boots at 28 years old, they're pitching him in Philadelphia. I think he's well received. to pick up on what Justin said, he's definitely talented enough. He's definitely got all the tools. Perhaps we've been waiting on him a bit too long. Perhaps they let the cat out of the bag a bit too soon, and we're still waiting. But I think he's going to get there. I think he's a really good talent. What he done last night is a bit frustrating because we might want to see a bit more from him. But what he did last night is what you're meant to do against them type of kids. I'd much rather he'd done that than have 5 or 6 rounds having a look at him and playing around with him. I'd much rather I saw what I saw last night than the alternative. So I think we've just got to, if I'm speaking directly to Justin, I think we just got to just enjoy the next 12 months and see what Eddie does with him. But to go back to the Eddie point, I think Eddie's got to put a lot of investment in Boots because this could be a big one for Eddie.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. Yeah, and I hear what you're saying about the plan to steer him away from Ortiz, but they're on a collision course. And then that looks to be sometime. You'd probably have to guess, probably April or May of next year.
Ortiz probably stops Lubin, so he's going to fight Ortiz next. I would say Ortiz stops Lubin. So
I was trying to explain that to Adam Abramowitz that we saw Ortiz get dropped by Bahuchek, who's a good puncher, but we've seen Lubin get stopped twice by a couple of guys who really aren't particularly big punchers, and both times with uppercuts, by the way.
And we've seen Lubin get beat on Pro Box, but he got the cheap decision. So I mean, he lost that Pro Box fight. So Lubin he's there.
Are you sure? You think you're thinking of something else? The only Pro Box fight I saw him on, he got the knockout.
Maybe it was a different fight. Whatever.
You're thinking of the Jesus Ramos fight.
Yeah, that was a fight I thought he lost. He definitely lost that fight.
Yeah, he
no
did.
Way he won that fight.
He did.
No way he won that fight. He might have won like 2 rounds of that fight. And that was just one of those. That card was. That's when I truly believe that card was made before it even started. Yeah. Like they had a plan and they knew where they were going with it, and Ramos was not part of that plan.
Yeah, that didn't work out well. That was a pretty terrible decision, even though I won money on it. But what are you going to do? But yeah, so the Ennis show rolls on, and again, he's probably going against Ortiz. Should the Lubin fight go the way that they expect it to go? We know how boxing works, though. We shall see. But it'll be, he's at least in a division with a lot of talent, and they all seem to be under the same roof. Turkey's willing to throw some cash at a lot of this shit, I'm sure. So they'll get it done. They'll get it done. But let's see. Also on that card, this is a hell of an entertaining fight. Alexis Barrier and Guido Vianello. Vianello upsetting Barrier, who was the favorite coming in, undefeated fighter. And he landed some good shots on Vianello, but Vianello just kept coming forward, landing hard shots, and eventually broke through. Hurt him, dropped him, I think in the 5th or the 6th round, and that was the fight. And Vianello moves on. He called out AJ. I don't think that's the worst opponent for AJ as far as it goes. But all in all, I just thought that this was an entertaining fight, Justin. I found myself thoroughly drawn to it the entire time.
I'm sorry, which fight was that?
Barrier and Vianello.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed that. It's weird because I've seen Barrier fight before on like the Eye of the Tiger stuff, and he's nothing impressive. I thought Vianello was going to win the whole time. I put money on Vianello. I never
good bet.
I never thought Barrier had a chance to beat him. Vianello has just been through too much, fought too many different guys. He's better than people give him credit for. And I saw nothing in Barrier, and what happened last night exactly what I thought was going to happen. I thought Barrier's power was he might have hurt Vianello a little bit, but I thought Vianello was going to go through his shots, and I thought he was going to stop him, and it's exactly what I thought was going to happen. Barrier, you saw last night, he couldn't take it. He wasn't. I think they had planned to go in there and blitz Vianello, which they tried, and they're just going to end it. They didn't think Vianello was going to be able to, and he's not the first guy that thought he was going to blitz Vianello, and it didn't happen. Vianello is, whatever you want to say about him, his skills, whatever, he's tough. And he shows up in shape, and he gives it a go. And I think that was all the ingredients that Barrier was not planned for, and there's nowhere for him to go now. He's never – Vianello, much as I said I liked him, he's the yardstick. If you can't beat him, that's it. You're not going to go much higher than that because he's kind of like the B level. Barrier is C, D level now. That's where I thought he was the whole time. It was fun while it lasted, but you could see that Vianello's shots had a little bit more on him. Barrier was not – just couldn't deal with it. And he's not that big of a guy. Barrier looks more like a cruiserweight almost in there. He's not a huge guy. And who was this in his corner? Wasn't that Fury's guy?
Sugar Hill.
Sugar Hill. I saw Sugar Hill train him. I was like, y'all are putting a lot of effort in the guy who's not that skilled to get Sugar Hill in and do all this stuff, because it doesn't matter if Sugar Hill's his trainer or not. He can't train. You can't do nothing if a guy doesn't have that kind of ability. So that is what's going on. And I like Villanello. He'll move on. Like I said, the man has been, every fight he fights is for his career. And he keeps pushing it. So Villanello has earned another payday. He's going to give you a test. I'm saying if Itoma wants to fight somebody, put him in versus Villanello. Itoma will knock Villanello out. But Villanello is going to make Itoma work for however long it lasts. And that's kind of what Itoma needs. He needs somebody to work him that's going to challenge him at this stage of his career. So why not a Villanello? I know people, casual people might say, why in the hell is Itoma fighting this random dude? But they don't know. Villanello can get it. And that's what I think they should do, something with Itoma, Villanello type guy, or Makhmudov, honestly. Yeah, Barrier, we see these guys all the time. They were going to put him in deep water, see what happened, and he drowned really quick. Didn't even get out there. So yeah, I like Villanello. I'm glad he beat him, and I was right. I'm not right all the time, but I was right on that one.
No, that was a good W. Good W there, Justin. And let's see here. Des, did you want to get anything in on that fight? Rob is joining us now. I don't know where I'm going to jump him into this, but did you caught Guido, didn't you?
Yeah, I like Villanello. I've liked it. We've spoke about him a lot on this pod because he's one of them come from behind type of guys. He just won't go away. And last night there wasn't a lot between the two kids, and everybody fancied Berriere to send Guido home and out of boxing. But Guido's experience over, his full 13, 14 fights or whatever he's had, the FA Jagbas, the Makhmudovs, the Richard Torreses, all those fights have come together. And knowing that he's fighting for his career, knowing that, boxing kind of wants to show him out the door, or put him in the bracket of the opponent that comes in to get beat. He just wouldn't stand for it last night. And he's a hard night's work for anyone at European level or fringe world level. He's a hard night's work for a lot of people. He'd be a really good fight against someone like an Itoma. He'd be a good fight for someone like a Fabio Wardley. I'm not saying who wins out of them fights. I think Itoma beats him. But the point I'm making is he'll offer an awful lot. He's rugged. He's got good feet. He can throw his hands. He's got a variation of punches, and he just won't go away. So I like to see stories like Villanello's. I think he's a very capable operator. I think he's somewhere around that European level. It'd be interesting. I know he's based out in America, but wouldn't it be interesting if they brought him back here to pick up a European title, which he would qualify for, like he almost did with Paulie Malignaggi? Although you're based out in America, you could pick up that European title and there'd be plenty of work for him. He's a really good fighter, Villanello, at a level. And I just like the fact that he won't go quietly. I like the fact that he doesn't mind upsetting a few people. And he's bounced back from the FA Jagba decision, which I thought was tight, and the Richard Torres one. So fair play to him. It was a good fight, but he did what he had to do last night. He showed up and he beat the kid that they was all promoting.
Well, the thing about him and Malignaggi is Villanello was actually full-blooded Italian. Malignaggi just tries to pretend he is.
But Rome, wasn't he?
Villanello was born and raised. I think he was an Italian Olympian. I think he spent most of his life, almost all his life, in Italy.
I think I think both of his mother and father are Italian or Italian Sicilian.
Paulie would qualify.
Actually get the European title.
Yeah, Paulie's definitely a proud Dago. That's for sure. He's I think his bare knuckles getting ready to come up here too. And before we, Rob, I'm not trying to avoid you here, but I want to wrap this up, and then we'll go to everything that you saw. The fight that I thought this was a really fucking bizarre decision on there. I'm not saying that Tamir Smalls didn't win, especially with the knockdown against Jose Roman Vasquez, who has the W over Jalil Hackett, by the way. But the scorecards, I can't make any sense of whatsoever. He had a 98-91, a 95-94, and a 96-93. I thought it was in that 95 to 94 either direction, Justin. I just didn't see a 98-91 like Dave Braslow saw. That definitely qualifies as one of the worst scorecards I've seen in recent memory.
Yeah, because after Smalls knocked him down, the fight was actually kind of even after that. Like, he actually was coming back and landing shots on him.
And he probably lost every round up until that point.
Yeah,
I thought
exactly.
that Vasquez was pretty much in control.
Something about when he took that shot, it kind of like he realized, I'm in a fight now. Like, this guy can actually punch. And Ramos started to like get his distance better. So, yeah, it was definitely – I think Smalls won, but it wasn't 98-91. I think it's one of those deals. If that card hadn't been so wide, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. I don't think – if it was a little bit closer, we wouldn't really be worrying about it. But when somebody has one of them random ass dumb cards, it makes you start going back and looking at the fight again and saying, hold on, was I wrong? Did I see some wrong shit? Well, let me go back. What was he seeing that I didn't see? It makes you kind of look and say, hold on, where is he getting that from? Was it that bad? And that guy just was way off, but that's just, hell, that's boxing. I mean, everybody's got their own damn opinion. But I thought it was closer. I think Smalls won. And isn't Hackett the guy that Steve was all over forever?
Yeah. He was up on them nuts.
Yeah, he was all over that. I mean, all over that Hackett guy. Yeah. So Smalls is. I don't think I see a world title in his career, but he can be entertaining. He can punch. He's got some things about him for being a really short guy, and no pun intended, but he is small. He's got they said he had like an 80-inch reach for a guy with his height. So I mean, he's going to be awkward to fight. So he'll be difficult. I don't see world title, but I definitely think the fight was closer last night than they gave it.
It was no way. I really thought it was probably 95-94 either direction. I mean, if you go around wider than that, I guess I can't bitch. It just, I thought it was particularly ridiculous on that end. Smalls probably, I don't know. I don't think he's going to go particularly far at the weight, but we'll see. We shall see. And I'll tell you what, though, Roman Vasquez is a very, very tough out for anybody, being a 6'2" welterweight. And he's not, he's skilled. He's a pretty talented guy. So anyhow, that was about all that mattered on there. Rob, why don't you give us your wrap up of what you saw this weekend, and then we'll move forward into this bullshit that is the next couple of weeks of boxing.
Hey, yeah, just the two main events really. Big takeaway from the Makhmudov Allen fight is, did he like piss away a better career? Because we've been back and forward about Dave Allen. He's much maligned on the boxing podcast. He's part of the boxing asylum DNA for being on the receiving end of particularly fucking classic rants. Ozzie Smith being the case in point. I remember Ozzie saying one time, he's like, what's he come to the ring for wearing caribou trainers? Get some boxing boots, for fuck's sake. I don't think it's a government secret that this Dave Allen was a bit of a waster in his early years, or he hadn't got the mentality to apply himself fully. And I'm not saying he's fucking, he's the second coming of fucking Ken Norton or anything, but you look at him last night, and I don't think Makhmudov's any great shakes, but when you look at him last night, sold 9,000 tickets in Sheffield. Like, that's a fucking lot. Like, put that in Crawford terms, like in Omaha, Nebraska, that's around the same numbers that Crawford was doing in his hometown. And a guy of his talent and ability versus what Dave Allen is, to be able to draw that number of people into your fight for nothing, when there's no world title at stake, no European title, it's just, a fight, Dave Allen fighting after beating Johnny Fisher. So incredibly popular guy, could have been a real ticket seller, never really applied himself, and in many ways like became the human version of fucking Homer Simpson when he turned pro that time, like, where he's just fucking gonna take shots. So like he actually fucking, he fought his heart out last night, even though he got clearly beaten, I thought. And he does take a lot of punishment. It's not terribly attractive to watch, and it's not very easy to watch when you see a fella getting hit that often. But it just makes me think like when you're looking at him, like I don't think Johnny Fisher was much or whatever, and I don't think it's a big coincidence that he beat him twice over the course. But the likes of Mahmoudov, these guys, he's been able to hang in there with like Lewis Ortiz, take Shellings, Dillian White. If he'd have fucking got his act together, he might have been able to make a hell of. I know he's done okay in the sport, but he might have been able to make a right lot more, a few quid, and been a real British cult hero. Instead, like he divided opinion because you could see he was taking a piss. He wasn't taking it seriously. Like he's going in and getting these big opportunities. He's coming in out of shape. Remember Lenroy Thomas? There was a talk that he, and it's hard to navigate fame and all that. Like I'm sure he's gone from Doncaster to fucking, do you know what I mean? The being on Sky Sports is a big deal. Like, but it seemed like he was, Lenroy Thomas on the day he was worn out. I think he was set up to beat Lenroy Thomas and then didn't get the win because he'd exhausted himself like by doing. He was down talking to the fans all day, where he wasn't up in his hotel room maybe on the day of the fight, or he'd gone for a walk in the quarry or something on the day beforehand. I know Russ used to give a lot of insights into where Alan was. They knew each other and stuff. I think they're from the same area, but Russ, Dave Allen, and the lad off One Direction, the biggest Doncaster experts. But saying all that to say this, I think he probably did he over and underachieve at the same time. What I'm saying is a guy with that kind of draw, I could sell that kind of tickets. If he'd have made some minor adjustments in terms of just applying himself, fighting out of a crouch a little bit, get hit a little bit less. Do you know, do you know what I mean? He might have been. I'm not saying like he wasn't
Move
a
your
world beater
head.
or anything.
Throw a
Yeah,
jab.
yeah, just do some other shit apart from take shots and then hope the other fella gets tired. Like maybe that, that way. So I thought he'd get stopped and get holes punched in him. Didn't happen. Makhmudov actually looked like he was running out a little bit of steam, even though he was in control of the fight the whole way along. And what's next for Dave Allen? Fuck knows. Like he's still going to be around as an opponent for someone. I think he's the perfect opponent for the AJ comeback, to be honest with you. And I know they said last night
Oh
if Makhmudov
Jesus,
wins, they
that'd
were
be
going to give it.
he'd fucking steamroll him.
But it's AJ needs somebody to look really good against so he could potentially set up the Fury fight down the line. Like I know we talked about it, we don't want to see it, but it is going to happen. But it's not going to happen without the guy needs rounds. Like AJ's completely gun shy, his confidence is completely shot. He's never going to take on a guy like Makhmudov who'd have a good gas tank and hang in there, fucking be still there at round 10. They don't want that. Like want somebody that he's going to be able to look good at, like good against. So fucking. I think Dave Allen versus AJ. Let's have it. Like, why not? That's what should be next for Dave Allen for me. And then over in America, Jaron Ennis. We spoke about it last week. We had some Philly insights last week into Ennis's and star power over there. I think he did exactly what he was supposed to do last night with a guy who's already lost to Aaron McKenna. Did he lose to Aaron McKenna or Steve McKenna? I'm not sure which McKenna he lost to. That guy lost to
Aaron.
one of the McKenna brothers before, didn't he? And he didn't play with his food. He just went out and got him out of there. He looked good doing it. Put the 154 division on notice, as Eddie said, but now he has to fight the guys that are in the 154 division that people want to see him in against. So let's have him. If you're not going to get him in against Virgil Ortiz next, which I don't think Eddie will, he's not fucking stupid. Why not give him Zaliev? Like, I don't think he's a killer. He's a bit of a dangerous puncher.
I'm not sure that Murtazaliev isn't a tougher out than Ortiz at this point in time.
I don't know. Like, I think I'm with you to a degree. Like, I thought he looked superb against Kostya's, fucking Tim Tszyu.
Tim Tszyu. Yeah.
And scary, but he hasn't been able to have a fight since, has he? So he was talking about like he's going to retire and that the other day on Twitter because nobody seems to really want him. He's in the Who Wants Him club, but I think he's a guy that Boots could look really, really good against. And off the back of that Tszyu win, Ennis's stock could go even higher and would force people to clamor for that Virgil Ortiz fight. Top Boots did what he did what he did. But if he'd have gone 6, 7, 8 rounds with this fella having a look around him last night, people are starting to turn on him. And I think he realized that and got him out of there and look good doing it. So yeah, but I'd love to see Murtazaliev versus Ennis next.
All right. Right on. Yeah, and unfortunately, the boxing schedule got a little bit lighter as we learned Sebastian Fundora has injured his hand, and that card with Keith Thurman is off. Thankfully, Donnie canceled his reservations. But that is pretty unfortunate, and I'm kind of hoping that they move the bulk of that card over to the Manny versus Raleigh card because Fulton versus Foster was on there. And
Oh
honestly,
yeah, that got
yeah,
rearranged as well. Yeah, fuck's sake,
that's a
disaster.
fucking bummer. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's more disappointing, as far as meaningful fights, maybe than Fedora versus Thurman was, and I think it was probably
But it
more.
was I, am I right in saying I was listening to fucking Weigh In with Wellington, by the way, which I really enjoyed. Was it Fondora that pulled out of that, not Thurman?
Yeah, fucking
Jesus
shock the.
Christ.
Yeah, you fucking. That's how you know we've gone into a different timeline, Rob.
Fucking hell. And then Baturbiev as well, he pulled out of his fight, didn't he? So there's three pullouts.
Yeah, but wasn't it against like Demon Nicholson or something like that? Like,
Yeah, it was a winnable one for sure. Like, but I think
why would we care?
the curtain might be about to close on Baturbiev. I think he's
Maybe.
always loved to pull out anyway, hasn't he? He's loved to pull out. Like,
yeah, he's pulled out of a good number of fights and had a lot of postponements in the past. So I guess that doesn't surprise me. But yeah, the schedule was pretty soft, and it just became a lot softer with that unfortunate canning of that card in Las Vegas a couple of weeks from now. But so there's not a lot going on. Des, I know that you have to get going here soon, but let me real quick see what the heck was, if there was anything. Yeah, because I think we're going to try to cover 2 weeks here. So if you got a moment there, Des, let's see.
You tell me Danny Garcia can't prop up the boxing world for a whole week?
Yeah, we can go back to that one. But Des, why don't you go ahead and give me your Parker versus Wardley pay-per-view, or pay-per-view, with the fact, that still bothers me. It's on pay-per-view. Excuse me. Prediction. And how do you see that one going? I think this is gonna be another levels fight. What are you thinking, Des?
I think it's a good fight. I think it's an intriguing fight, and I think there's a very strong possibility Fabio Wardley may have found his level. His best win is somewhere between David Adelaide and the second Fraser Clark win. His best performance is the first Fraser Clark fight, and the most stunning, pulling it from behind win was Justice Hooney. So we're not quite sure if Fabio Wardley's got the ability to deal with a seasoned world-class heavyweight. We've never seen him do it yet. David Adelaide, Fraser Clark do not fall into that category. And probably the most talented fighter he's dealt with was Justice Hooney, who had good motor skills and size, and he caused Fabio fits all night. Did that punch flatter deceive? Did it flatter Fabio? Did it give him the opportunity for the Joe Parker fight, which probably he didn't deserve? I don't know. What do we know about Joseph Parker? He's seasoned, he's tough, he's been in with fights with some really good men at some really good times. When he fought AJ, I know AJ sort of reverted, and it was a very good version of AJ, and he negated AJ. And when he fought Joe Joyce, that was a very good version of Joe Joyce, and he really had pockets in that fight, and it was a good fight. And we see him against Zhang, which I think we wasn't quite sure that one was going to go. I think Parker's live in this one. I think Parker has got the skill set, the fundamentals. I think he's got the toughness. I don't think he'll be intimidated by Wardley. I don't think Wardley's punch will be something Parker hasn't seen before. I think he's been there with bigger punches. I think Wardley's the right size for Parker to press him and move him about. I think it's a really hard fight for Fabio, and I don't think we've seen enough of Fabio at this level against this type of opponent. And I think that Justin Hooney was a big red flag for me. So I'm going to go Parker beats him, and he might even stop him late.
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily disagree with that one. While we're there, real quick, let's also, because I know you said you had to get out of here in about an hour, and I know we're running up on that time there, Des. So real quick, why don't you go ahead and give me your Clark and Jamie TKV pick as well?
That's another good fight. That's another good one. It's on the same night, isn't it, on the other channel?
I think that it's on. This
yeah.
is on BBC Two. I tend to
they're
think this is
clashing,
a more equally matched fight, to be honest with you.
It is. It's TKV against Fraser Clark. So, it's a really good one, and I like it. But I think Fraser's going to have. I think Fraser's got a much higher set of motor skills. I think he's got a really good jab. I think he's got good size. I think Fraser's come through some very hard moments in boxing, and I think in a similar type of conversation to Vianello, similar type of set of circumstances, that he knows he's fighting for his career against TKV, and if he wants to kick on, and if he wants to hold down a television contract, if he wants to move into European level, and go where a lot of people said he should be going, I think he knows he's got to pull this one out. I think Fraser stops TKV.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, because it seemed like any time that he's kind of bumped up the levels a little bit, he has gotten stopped, right?
Can I just say, Matty?
Yeah.
I think what's going to be really crucial in this fight will be their experience, Fraser's size, Fraser's straight 1-2. I've not seen much in Jamie TKV to suggest he might not become the Dave Allen in that fight and do everything in straight lines and become a very easy target.
All right. Right on, man. Well, yeah, if you need to get out of here, I understand. But thank you for those picks. And yeah, like I said, I think it'll probably be taken next week off, and we'll be back to review this stuff the week after. But yeah, these are all right as far as it goes. There's not a whole lot going on this next week. We'll get back to those. I'm going to kind of do things a little bit chronologically. This is I'll tell you what, Rob, here's a bizarre card for you. This is coming. This is going to be in Brooklyn, New York on millions.co. And going to be headlined by Danny Garcia versus Danielle Gonzalez. Nahir Albright, who I'm a fan of, taking on Richard Comey. Damian Neva taking on Joey DeWeco. Yep, Fat Joey's still around. Chris Colbert giving it another go on there against Blas Ezequiel Caro. Gabe Rosado on there against Vaughn Alexander. I actually think that Vaughn could upset him there. And Dominique Crowder versus Fernando Diaz. And that's all available to you on millions.co, which I believe is going to be a pay-per-view event.
It's just brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll generate millions.co in pay-per-view buys. Danny Garcia, what age is he now, Matty?
He's got to be 36 or 37, I think.
Yeah, and he's 36 and 37, inactive. Another example of a shining star of the PBC who got paid a lot of money. We're going back 14 years since his win over Amir Khan when he was at his absolute apex. I think he's, he got the bag and he stopped trying, like, didn't he? I don't think this is going to be much to write home about. I'd say maybe Garcia still has enough KO power to deal with this guy, but just a thorough disappointment. Danny Garcia, really, for me. Like, I think he didn't make as much bread as he should have, even though he got handsomely paid on the PC. I think he had genuine star power. I think he was exciting. He's always been limited, like, where I think his punching power has always made him exciting. He's a bit of a, he has a bit of charisma, a bit of something about him, like, that holds people's interest. But I don't know how much interest he's going to hold to generate pay-per-view buys on a new channel.
Hey, Rob, I hate to stop here, but this is going to be great news to everybody. This card actually is featuring the return of Kurtzside.
Oh, brilliant. No way. Kurtzside.
Yes.
Yeah, Kurtzside, that's a pity. He was cutting 14 pounds of heroin nice and easy, like a real life Grand Theft Auto character like Kurtzside. He's a story of what might have been if he was on the right side of the
Good
law.
puncher. Good puncher.
Good puncher, exciting fighter, would have been a real obstacle for a lot of guys in around 160 when he was. What weight is he fighting at this time? Is he still at 60 or is he up to 68
I have
now?
no idea.
Could be 75. He could be coming out jacked out of prison. Like, yeah, Carteside was a classic case of what might have been. Like, yeah. So Danny Garcia. I think Danny Garcia by knockout. Chris Colbert. It really needs a win. I don't know. It's a very long way back for him after recent performances. Yeah, a bit of a. It's a bit of a money laundering card, this one, isn't it? Who's behind this? I don't know who's putting up the bread for this event in Brooklyn, but
someone has cash to hide. This is a fucking loser for sure. I don't know.
Is it at the Barclays?
I don't.
Hardly. It's hardly at the Barclays, is it?
Let's see here. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So maybe they're gonna. I can't imagine that's going to be a packed house either. Although Philly is close by. Yeah, not very fucking. It's hard to get excited about that one, Matty. Honestly, give you anything much more. Like, expect Garcia to win by KO.
The guy he's fighting isn't awful, and I'm sure I've seen him fight before. I'm just having a hard time like placing it. He's not a young guy. He's got to be in his 30s as well. His first pro fight was 2012, and his first loss was to Danny O'Connor. He lost to Chris Algieri once upon a time, but he has a majority decision loss to an Onion, who is a good fighter. And then he lost a split decision after that to a guy who is really has a pretty pathetic record, and that was after a layoff for him. And then he's been back, got a win over a 24-3-1 fighter. So he might, I guess it depends on how interested Garcia looks. I guess this guy is totally unqualified as far as it goes, but the card, I think
he'll probably fiddle Garcia around for a few rounds. I think Garcia's ring inactivity is obviously going to play, especially when you play a factor, especially when he's 36, and he's up at 60 now, isn't he, Garcia?
This might be back at 54 if I recall.
Right. Okay. I think 54 is probably a good weight for him. So if he's in decent shape, he can still punch. This guy mightn't offer too much offensive threat, so I'd say Garcia will probably sit him on his arse somewhere around the mid to late rounds there.
Yeah, I don't. There might be a couple of underdogs to grab on here, just based on people being uninterested or at the end of it. Why are they still fighting? God knows. I don't think a 12-8 guy is going to beat Chris Colbert. Yeah, we'll see. Colbert doesn't look very great, but Von Alexander and Gabe Rosado, I don't know if that's going to be a particularly great fight by any stretch of the matter, or it's not meaningful. But Von he's only been stopped twice in his career, and he's fought a good number of fighters, and I've seen him run a lot of guys close as going up as they brought these prospects up against him over the time. And I think that this could end up being the best win of his career. I actually kind of feel like Von Alexander could take this one against Rosado. I'll look at see if there's numbers on that, but I'm kind of leaning.
Rosado, nobody wants. Sorry, Des, go ahead, dude.
I was going to say something exciting about that card, and Hamed in the chat has just flagged it. Our friend from Georgia who resides in Brooklyn, who got nicked for being some sort of Georgian money laundering mafia boss, he's on the card. He's on his second fight back. So thanks to Hamed for letting us know that.
Oh, we already mentioned that. You don't pay attention.
Just pull the Rob Kelly on him there.
I popped out and popped in. I had to sorry, mate.
Yeah. He caught it. But
can you imagine the people he fucked up getting money back? Because he was like the my God, he fucking destroyed some people in New York if you owed him money.
Well, definitely if he doesn't make it out.
The best scene I've seen in boxing was when Billy Joe Saunders tried to put it on him, and he's just sitting in the bed smiling. And his trainer, a name escapes me now. It's Andre. Anyway, just said he's the wrong person to try that with, and it was so eerie. But we didn't know what we know now, obviously.
Oh. Well, both friends with a great bunch of lads, apparently. So who knows what way that would have played out? Like,
who are we to judge?
Exactly. I think in terms of Vaughn Alexander and Gabe Rosado has been a gatekeeper for over 10 years now. I think he has around 12 or 13 losses, 12 or 13 robberies in his own opinion. He's a tough guy, but
17 losses, I think, is actually how many
has
it
he got
was.
17? Yes. So I don't know if it would be a massive, massive upset if Vaughn Alexander is able to make a decision against him. I think he has a ceiling. He's a very tough guy, durable guy, made for a good opponent, a good kind of range finder for a lot of guys in around 60 to 68 over the years. But
Gabe
Jesus Christ,
Rosado was a gatekeeper in a movie and in fucking real life.
yeah,
He's typecast.
He cannot
Typecast,
get away from it. This is who he is.
So I don't know what kind of gates he's going to be opening for Vaughn Alexander, but yeah, I side with you on that one, Matty. I'd say Vaughn Alexander might be able to outpoint this version of Gabe Rosado for sure. Shout out Ryan Deal with the super chat, by the way. Good man yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Says Mark Ramsey sealing his WBC Clean Boxing Program Trainer of the Year award. Thanks for that, Ryan. Yeah, it's Better Biev. Yeah, because Better be. Oh, he's referencing Better Biev pulling out. I see what you're saying, Ryan. I see what you're saying. Yeah, how dare you infer such terrible
cynicism, which we hate on this pod.
Yeah, we're optimists. This is like I said, this is kind of it's a weak that Dominique Crowder will be interesting to see him. That's an 18-0 fighter. That night, if you don't want to pay for that on pay-per-view, I'm not here to tell you where to spend your money. You can flip over to DAZN and you can watch a card headlined by Lord Juarez against Jessica Neri Plata, who is actually a very good fighter. She's tremendously inactive. She's gotten a good number of upset wins in her career. Kind of like that main event. Also going to have Sharetta Metcalf against Amanda Serrano's prospect, Crystal Rosado. Omar Juarez, Omar Rosario on there. That could be an all right fight. So that is your option for those that want to watch DAZN on this Saturday. Thursday,
I like the sound of a lot of those female fighters on that DAZN card. And that I've never seen them, but I like the sound of their names. You know what I mean? Like a Crystal Rosado. That's giving me that's piquing my interest some way. Like
there you go. Well, we know what you're doing on Sunday morning. And then we're gonna have let's see here, DAZN card in Puerto Rico the following Thursday, the 23rd. Joshua Pagan against Malik Montgomery. I'm trying to remember Malik Montgomery for some reason. Let's search that one up. Does that ring a bell to you, Justin? For some reason, I know I've seen him fight, but I can't remember who.
Malik Montgomery. Is he one of those guys that fought on that Atlanta? What's that thing that Atlanta does? The
overtime boxing.
Yeah,
that's what I think it was.
Yeah, he's an overtime boxing guy. I've seen him fight like once or twice, but
20-1.
Yeah, I think he lost. Did he lose his last fight?
Against the Jeremy Hill.
That was the overtime boxing shit. I watched that on one of the Fire Stick pay-per-view.
Yeah,
he's like, I think all his fights have been pretty much on that Atlanta-based, whatever the hell that thing is.
Well, he's headed to Puerto Rico to take on Joshua James Pagan, who is 13-0. This is actually could be a decent little main event. Not much pop. He's got 4 KOs. Oh God, Rob, I'm gonna send this freaking link to the group. He's an odd looking fellow. Probably why he's boxing. I bet people made fun of his strange eyes, like Tevin Farmer. I'll have to get this to Steve for value of the week. I'm not loading shit up into here, but that could actually be a pretty decent main event right there. Montgomery, I mean, he's got serious pop. So this guy's going to have to be able to box around him pretty well, because if he can't hold him off, Montgomery can definitely knock the guy out.
Montgomery, if I remember right, he is really limited. I think he was one of these guys that they were pushing, but he looked like shit. If I remember that fight where he lost, he lost to a guy who was supposed to knock out in 3 rounds, and the guy just completely overwhelmed him and outboxed him. So I'm actually thinking they're probably setting Pagan up to beat him now, because he looked so bad that he turned into an opponent because of one fight.
Yeah,
and now he's fighting this guy with the fucked up eyes, he said, and he'll probably win. But this is boxing turned to the point now where it's like, we're gonna give you one good card, and then you got to deal with about a month and a half of shit. Then we're gonna give you one good card, then give us another month, because that's kind of where we're at right now. We're gonna give you something
pretty awful,
and then you got to wait about 4 or 5 weeks, and we'll give you something else. But you got to watch fucking Danny Garcia, Joey DeWecco. Joey DeWecco is kind of my hero. He's the
Fat Joey.
He's a short, chunky guy who kind of is overachieved. And then,
do you like to roll? Do you like to roll shots too, Justin?
Yeah, that's what it is. Joey DeWecco, he fights he has this skill, but he's only like 5'10", and if he was like 6, if he was taller and had a better reach, he would be a hard guy to fight. But he's just a little short.
You can't hide behind your fucking shoulder when the guy has an 8-inch reach advantage.
No, he's like
and is punching down on you by a foot.
David Tua got away with that because he was a tough fucker who could punch.
Yeah,
DeWecco can't punch, so he can't get away with shit. Tua could just take you out. DeWecco doesn't have that. He just has some ability, and he's really fucking small and fat.
Joey is basically kind of like today, like a Brian Minto type.
Yeah.
You know,
that'd have been a good fight though.
Yeah, Fat Joey against Brian Minto, that would have been terrible.
Yeah, Brian Minto, fucking like bodybuilder, but he was tough.
There's your fucking hardcore fight. I remember when he went over to Germany and he fought Marco Huck.
Yes.
he got their shit kicked out of him.
That was right when remember Marco Huck was fighting, he was fighting like the Opataya schedule. He had like Brian Minto, and then he fought that guy called the Swamp Donkey from like Tennessee.
But wasn't he doing it like every 3 or 4 months at least?
Yeah,
he was pretty active.
He was pulling the Opataya. They were fighting just like the guy he fought from Tennessee had never fought outside of Tennessee. And if I know
it's fucking hard to find fights in Tennessee. You got to work hard.
People don't understand. Tennessee is not the place you would think anybody would box out of. It is pretty redneck country, and there's nobody there. So yeah, that was the Marco Huck Opataya schedule. So every time somebody says, "Well, why isn't this guy doing this? He should be fighting better fighters," you can go back through history. All the top guys do this. If you really think about it. They always have this little run of fighting nobodies. Everybody does it.
Yeah, unfortunately, for some guys, it's their entire career. Like Justin was saying, Tennessee over there. Rob, you remember that song "Tennessee" by Arrested Development?
Take me to another land, Matty.
There you go, buddy. There you go. those guys were like hardcore black nationalists, but they only had a couple of hits, but they're good tunes. Tennessee and Mr. Wendell. Mr. Wendell's a great song. Anyhow,
Everyday People. Sly Stone interpolation. There you go.
It's always a surprise that a black guy like Caleb Plant was able to make it in a state like Tennessee. He was able to get out, and all the hard life he had, and he was able to make it.
Dude, I mean, to be fair, with his argument, his mom was killed by the police. He's fucking he's making some pretty good arguments just based on his existence.
Caleb Plant has gone completely the other way. I mean, I don't think he is white anymore. If you ask him, I think he's gone as far as you can go.
That wife of his fucking sucked the Caucasian right out of him. And I must look fair. To be fair.
Well, let's hope so.
That is a good looking woman there, and he keeps knocking her up repeatedly. Can you blame him? But anyways, yeah, so that
at least he doesn't pull out. There's no Baturbiev in his fucking game.
Yeah. Well, in anyways,
this is what it's come to.
Anyways, Rob, a condom would be useless because he can't roll for shit. Let's see here.
Oh my god!
All right, now I got to figure out what the hell I got to see what the hell else is on this Joseph.
We got to come back to we got to come back to Parker. Yeah, we got to come back to Parker.
Yeah, we got to do that. I'm gonna do that. Let's see what the hell else is on that under. I think this is one of the worst imaginable undercards in the history of fucking pay-per-view boxing. But let's go and make sure that we're correct here. It's going to be at the O2 Arena. Lewis Edmondson and Ezra Taylor. Not a terrible fight there, I guess. Not a terrible fight. Yeah, that's that one I can live with. Jurgen Oldadaj against Raleigh Lambert Fuguam. I don't know what to tell you about that one. I know I said at least one of them wrong. Danny Quartermain against Royston Barney Smith. 13-0-1 against 14-0. I guess there's decent enough domestic fare on here, but I sure as shit ain't paying for this fucking card. I don't know. Any thoughts on that undercard?
Absolutely zero for me. What about you, Justin?
No, we can move on from that. I don't think I want to break. Fuck that. I don't care. I mean, we'll move on. We need to bring Dez back. He can break that down a little bit more.
No, he's gone.
Oh, good. I really didn't want to hear the breakdown of that.
Yeah,
I didn't really want to hear it.
I'm trying to figure out what this Jurgen guy has to be like from fucking Norway or something. He's from Albania.
Well, the best Jurgen was Jurgen Bremer. If we want to get down, if we want to talk about his career, since there's nothing else to talk about.
Jurgen didn't he have like 5 fights with Arthur Abraham?
Yeah, Jurgen. He was one of those guys who was like 30 years old, but he looked 60 because he went bald when he was like 22 years old, and he was decent.
And I apologize for saying this is full of domestic fare because you had an Algerian? No, an Albanian. Excuse me, I say Algerian. We have an Albanian in Jurgen Oldadaj against a where is this Raleigh Lambert Foguam from?
So we know where all the
Cameroon.
So we know where all the money's going. It's definitely going to Parker.
Apparently,
yeah, because they're not giving shit. Those guys are getting about $1,000, probably $1,500 to fight.
5 seats for their family members. Yeah, I don't know. As far as the main event goes, I think Wardley, he's got that punch, but damn it, Parker is incredibly durable, and he knows how to stay dialed in for 12 full rounds.
And he's just better. He's just better. We could talk about it all day long, but Parker's just does everything better. Everything better than Wardley does.
Yeah, and he's going to do a lot of fighting underneath Wardley and landing shots over the top, do some work to the body.
I imagine Wardley always is. Wardley, you know how he is. He's going to land a shot, and he's going to buzz Parker at least once in the first few rounds because that's what Wardley does because he can bang. But once Parker can take that, that's it. And Wardley, you've seen, he gets hurt very easily. He gets hurt in every fight he's in. Parker won't. I don't think the Parker we've seen recently. I think if he gets Wardley hurt, I think he'll finish this. I don't think he'll lay back as much as sometimes he used to. Because I mean, I think Parker knows. Parker has to know. I mean, God Almighty, this is it for him. He has to beat Wardley or he's fucked. Where do you go? This is not trying to put Wardley down, but Parker knows this has to be it.
And to be fair, if there's any fighter who it seems like Usyk might be a little bit hesitant to fight in the division, I would say that it's Parker and Kamayel.
Yeah. Parker on his day can give anybody a fight because he has the ability. He's tough. He can do some things in there. I just think Wardley. I think he'll get Wardley late. I think 7, 8. I think he'll stop him, or they'll pull Wardley out because Parker's going to get him.
Yeah, it's so yeah, and I mean the thing is though, for some reason Wardley is still standing. I mean he's obviously in the fight because he's pulled him out of the fire before. Because he's got a great punch. Where are you going on this one, Rob?
To me, Parker's he's like an old vinyl record that's a bit scratchy. But it's been spinning smoothly for the last 6 to 7 spins, and you're taking a risk each time you put it down. Like I see, is it going to skip again? I think obviously the run he's been on since the Joyce knockout, you see the different side to him. I think under the Chutney Giovanni, obviously he's improved. But I didn't like this fight for him at the start because I think it's too risky. I think he was rightfully put himself in line for a Mando shot at the heavyweight title, and because he doesn't command the same amount of currency that the top stars in, he's kind of getting frozen out a little bit. So I mean, he's been looking good. He has that kind of sneaky check hook. He fights on the inside. He goes to the body. He's right there on the chest. I think moves his head well. Wardley, the Justice Hooney thing, he's down on the cards, he's eating shots like the fucking afternoon tea and then comes out of it. I don't think he can afford to do that with Parker, but it's it's a real coming out fight for Wadley. If he can knock out Joe Parker, that puts him in line, and then there's not as much pressure. They can still keep the heavyweight title in between the stars and have Wadley sit out as mandatory. If Parker wins here again, you can't, like, it would be a travesty if he still didn't end up getting a shot. Like, he's been mandated there for a long time. Like, so the Usyk situation has to be resolved with that suspension slash injury or whatever the fuck is going on, the investigation they're having on about that. I think that has to be looked into more, by the way. I know Usyk does tend to take a lot of breaks after his wins. But I think, for Parker, just has to box smart early, use the jab, keep Wadley at bay, kind of maybe choose his moments to be be aggressive rather, get it into the second half of the fight, and then just, I think, old man him a little bit for Wadley to win it. I don't think he's going to outbox Parker. I think he's going to have to be clever. I think he's going to have to hold his ground, try and force Parker back, cut the ring on Parker as well in the moments that he's trying to box, and try and get off that big shot and see how Parker can take it. But I think Justin's right. If Parker can show his beard, I think he'll wear Wadley down. But I think Wadley has a big puncher's chance in the fight, and I think the longer Parker goes without getting a title shot, the more chance there is of him getting upset.
And boxing would be
Yeah.
better off if Wardley won, if you want to look at it that way. I think there's more directions. I think boxing would be, especially for like the British aspect of it, I think it would be better if Wardley won if you had to look at it that way.
I think Usyk would rather that be the case
Yeah,
too,
'cause if
because he
if
would
Wardley
just
won-
box
if-
fucking circles around him.
That's what I'm saying. Because Usyk, think about the easy paycheck he would get in the UK. They would sell out some big arena if Wardley won, and that's a shit ton of money he would get to knock out Wardley. So yeah, boxing. I think UK boxing definitely, especially because they're craving big fights. They're not really getting over there. That would be for them. I think Wardley winning would be where they would like it to go.
Yeah, but I think Parker, he's had a lot of up and downs, and I'd kind of like to see him get a little bit of a shot there. Does he probably lose to Usyk? Yeah, but does he have probably as good of a chance as anyone in the heavyweight division of beating him? Yeah, I think so. Like I said, like if you asked me to look at like right now, and because I think I told him he needs more experience, when we're looking at it broadly. But if you ask me right now, if you had to put $10 down on any two fighters that you'd give the best chance to beat Usyk, knowing they're coming in as underdogs, right now, current form heavyweight division, I would say probably Parker and Cavael. As I said earlier, that's just where I'd lean. And again, that doesn't mean that they do beat him. It would just mean based on what I have seen and the available information that they probably have the best stylistic opportunity as far as it goes. Just my opinion. But yeah, so that one will be an interesting fight, and that is going to be basically 2 weeks from today. But then we also that Fraser Clark Jamie TKV fight. I mean that undercard is terrible. Francesca Hennessy is taking on Fabiana Batiki. That name will get to you because Y's have so much variation. Her name is spelled Bytyki or QI. BTK? Well, I don't know. We'll find out in a couple weeks. Who is 22-2-2? Who the hell has she fought? Has she fought anyone that doesn't suck? She lost to Tina Ruprecht. Did she win any rounds off of her? She won a few rounds off of Tina, so this could be a tough fight for Hennessy. I don't know what weight this is supposed to be at. But that could be maybe an interesting fight. But then you got Bobby Dalton against Joel Kadua, 11-0, 9-0. That's for the English welterweight title. Then you got Jack Massey's in there with a 10-4-1 guy. Mauro Silva and Bradley Goldsmith going to go in there 9-0 against 13-1. Rob, I imagine your answer would probably be the same on this undercard. Very little interest. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
How did you know that?
We're not going to discuss the Bobby Dalton fight in depth.
Yeah. Powers of perception are fucking scary.
Yeah, you talk to somebody about boxing for 5 years, you can take a hunch on some of these things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the main event though. As more and more I think about it, Clark should beat TKV pretty easily, Justin. I think that every time he's stepped up, he's lost. Clark has at least have that draw with Wardley to his record. So I think, I'm sure the odds are fairly wide for Clark, and I believe that be reasonably so, because I think this would be a substantial upset, honestly, if TKV beats him.
It's going to be an ugly fight because neither guy's that great. TKV looked like shit versus Adelaide. He's a really limited guy, is TKV. And hey, maybe I didn't look this up. We call him TKV because that's short for something, right? Isn't his name like some kind of...
It's like Chakiva. Like, it basically sounds like TKV almost.
Okay, yeah, we'll just call him TKV. But, yeah, I think Fraser Clark should have enough. And like you said, he's fought at a higher level. He's got a better background. But I think it's going to be a horrible fight to watch. I think there's going to be a lot of holding. I think it's just going to get really ugly like the Adelaide fight was. It's just going to be real sloppy and a terrible watch. And I think Clark will probably win 97, 93 or some shit like that. But I know it's going to be ugly. It's not going to be a fun fight to watch. I don't think there's going to be a knockout. I don't think that's really who Clark is. I don't think he's got that kind of power. I don't think he's going to go for it, especially having his jaw completely wrapped around his head by Wardley. I don't think he's going to open up. It's just going to be ugly, but I think he'll just scrap out a really nasty decision.
Well, that's a good point. Coming off of that injury, sometimes guys don't want to take the shot, Rob, and it's there's going to be a little bit of hesitation there. So that changes my calculus just a little bit. I would say that TKV has just a little bit of a better shot because that's a big injury to come off of. You don't forget getting your jaw broken, especially less than a year after.
Well, I think if TKV has anything about him, then he's going to have to come and set about Fraser Clark early doors and test him out. Like, it's a strange one for me because it's the start of the boxer deal with BBC, isn't it? And it's a very strange night to put on another British heavyweight who lost to the guy who's headlining the other card. Like, boxer have perplexed us, to say the least, with some of their decision making over the years, and this doesn't seem to be a great start, although they have to go with what they go with. Why they're having it on the fucking same night, I have no idea. Maybe it was prearranged or whatever, but Clark versus TKV, maybe TKO to Clark. But in true boxer fashion, the upset could be in here, like, because what do you say if he fucking gets a deal with the BBC, rolls out Fraser Clark for terrestrial TV to get a British guy people can root for, and then he gets flattened. That seems to be the way the script will go for boxer, but we'll see how he goes. He'll come and fiddle him about it. I think it'll probably go to a decision, like Justin said. I think Clark via decision in an unflattering performance. I say this guy TKV is going to have more moments than he'd expect, or the casual would expect. I think they're both at a similar level, if that makes sense. So could lead to a close and exciting fight if they're both at that level. I just don't. There's nothing like. I think the drama's going to be on the other card, isn't it? Or the exciting stuff.
I don't know that anything's going to particularly measure up, but we'll see. I mean, sometimes you get shocked. That Vianello fight was pretty fun, and honestly, Allen and Makhmudov was pretty decent as far as just entertainment value. But yeah, we'll see. Eamon Khan getting in there and saying TKV being underrated. He was outfoxing Adelaide until the KO came under controversial circumstances. Justin, I'm trying to remember the end of that fight. Is it ringing a bell for you, or is it just too interspersed with episodes of Andy Griffith?
That's the one where they said that Adelaide hit him late behind the head or some shit after the round was over, and that's what. You remember they
hit him on the break or something, didn't he?
Yeah, he hit him on the break.
Yeah,
and he stopped him, and they like called the knockout for Adelaide. But
yeah, the ref wasn't in his position. He tried to make yeah.
No, the referee jumped in and like kind of like blocked TKV, so Adelaide hit him, but I think it was something like the referee was kind of in the way, and it was all kind of.
And it looked like he was breaking the action.
Yeah,
the
referee should not have been in the way. Is what happened. He should have never been in there, and he kind of got in the way, and it allowed Adelaide to land that shot because the referee was like blocking TKV, and he took the shot, and the referee just let it go. But it was his fault because the fucker jumped in. It was like in the way, and it all kind of got fucked up.
Yeah, it even said the ref moved his hand.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, ref was
I
way
remember
too
now. Yeah, that was ugly. It's amazing that that's not like a major memory because it was so fucked up. Because there's so many other fucked up things we've seen between.
Well, I mean, I don't blame you for not remembering TKV. He's probably not the guy that's going to be on the top of your list of shit to remember.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? But yeah, so maybe this fight's a little bit more interesting than we were giving it credit for. It's a shame that it's not on the same card. I mean, I know different promoters and shit, but if it was on the same card as Worley versus Parker, I think like you actually might have a little bit of an argument if you take some of the best undercards of the two and put them on there. You might have an argument of at least a domestic level pay-per-view, but I don't get it. I think the only reason it's not pay-per-view over here is because by doing that, it's a barrier for like people illegally streaming it from the United States for people in the UK who can then illegally stream it, not pay for it. But what are you going to do? Sometimes you just got to watch your boxing, and I'm not here to judge you people and what you do with your Inferno twigs. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think that was about everything because unfortunately Fundora versus Thurman was canceled. You guys got anything else? Well, that was simple enough. I will take your silence as a cue to end this show. So I'd like to thank Ryan Deal for tossing in the fiver there and everybody that was hanging out in the chat today. I'd like to thank Justin, Rob, and Dez for coming on. And we're going to take next week off because, like we said, it's kind of a bummer of the hole in boxing here. But we'll be back 2 weeks from today to review everything that we just went over. And I hope you folks have a wonderful week ahead. We'll see you next time.
We'll never forget.
Golly, that's good at me.
Go to move!
We want to be honest, yeah?
Crying like a little bitch.
I've never met a fucking swank that can fight me.
I fell asleep. I fell asleep.
You're a fucking bum, you're a fucking asshole.
Rumpo fucking Steltskin.
But allegedly, Oscar Rivas has failed a test.
7 year ain't. 7 year ain't.
I will fucking smash fucking you.
I hope you fucking die.
Be safe.
I love boxing sounds. Simple as that.
Alrighty.